Hi, and welcome to my map project for History 190 with Professor Seed. In this project, I collected maps from people on the internet and people I know personally to see how people think about the geographical territory of the United States of America. I prepared an outline of the United States without state borders for people to draw their own regions using Microsoft Paint or Photoshop or whatever. I wound up collecting around 50 maps, but I'm only going to talk about the best examples in this video. This is the map I created to give people an example of what I'm looking for. I wanted people to draw interesting regions and give them at least somewhat interesting names. This is a map a friend made for me. She's living on the East Coast right now, but she grew up on the West Coast. She didn't label the yellow region, but she told me to call it the desert area. Feel free to pause the video at any time and look at the maps more closely. So people got pretty creative with their maps. This person decided to play with the borders a bit. I found it interesting that Florida was separated from the South, but as we'll see in a lot of maps, Florida is one of the culturally autonomous regions in people's minds. This map has some really interesting names. I asked the guy why he called the Southeast region De Leon, and he said it's because that's where he lives, so it's his region. Now, this map. I love the detail on this map, and some of these names are hilarious. Again, Florida is separate from the rest of the South. I particularly like his name for the region around Utah, Joseph Smith's alcohol-free enclave of magical underwear. This map came from a guy in New Jersey. Again, Florida is separate, and in the next few maps we'll see that Texas is also pretty culturally autonomous in people's minds. The Northeast has a lot of detail, which makes sense considering where the mapper lives. I thought it was interesting that he thought of the Native Americans when he thinks of the Southwest, when he's not thinking of SoCal or Texas. Okay, so I got this map from someone who clearly plays a lot of video games. It's very interesting that he, at least for this project, thought of the United States as various levels in a video game. There's a water level, the grass level, and even a bonus stage. This shows a pretty even mix between video game culture and the mapper's ideas on climate in the United States. This is the second map that has a region named Farmville, which may have something to do with Facebook influencing the place names people use to think of different regions. Areas are broken up in a pretty standard way, with the West Coast split into the North and South, and once again, Florida is off on its own culturally. Now this map has to be my favorite. Regions are boldly colored and the names are extremely descriptive. Interesting that the mapper considers the West Coast to be just one region instead of splitting it into North and South like a lot of other people do. This map obviously didn't use the outline I provided. It's incredibly detailed with various regions on 2 continents broken up, named, and even described. You probably can't see it very well in the video, but I'll include a link in the description so that people can look at it more closely. Now these next 2 maps are from games that people provided for me. It's hard to tell what people think about the regions culturally since the maps were produced for a commercial video game, but they're still interesting to look at how the regions are broken up and how they relate to each other. The 2 games are called Crimson Skies and Shadowrun, if you'd like to look them up on your own. This is another pre-made map that people have been passing around the internet for a while. As you can see, it's from the site GraphJam, and it's pretty funny because I'm a Californian and a few of these are accurate. Again, Texas and Florida are culturally separate. Now, here we get into some of the reasons why certain regions are distinct. This is a population map colored to show off emerging megaregions in the United States. As you can see, separate from the rest of the South are Florida and Texas. Also, you can see NorCal and Southern California are split up, and Seattle is off on its own. There's the East Coast and the Great Lakes region. Finally, this is a map produced by a researcher from data scraped from Facebook. This shows that within regions, there's a lot of friendships going on, but outside of certain regions, there's not a lot of friending. I think this has a lot to do with how likely Americans are to agree with each other about the rest of the United States. As you can see, there's Socalistan and Pacifica. They kind of follows the mega regions we saw earlier. Greater Texas, Dixie. Stay-at-Homia has a lot of overlap. And, yeah. Okay, I hope you all enjoyed these maps and this video. Thanks for watching.